Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unlock a law that literally puts power right into your hands, India's Right to Information Act. Now, this isn't just some boring piece of legislation. It is a fundamental tool for every single one of us.
And this isn't just some lofty, nice-sounding idea. These words are pulled directly from the preamble of the Act itself. They lay the groundwork for a truly revolutionary thought. For our democracy to work, you, the citizen, have to be informed. So, okay, it's great that you have this right, but how do you actually use it? I mean, how do you go from just wanting to know something to getting a real official answer? That's the practical, step-by-step process we are going to break down right now. All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the why behind the Act. Then we'll define exactly what your rights are. After that, we'll walk through how to actually get information, cover what to do if you're denied, and finally, we'll meet the powerful groups that make sure these rules are followed. Let's jump in. So, first things first, why does this Act even exist? Well, it was really designed with two main goals: to promote transparency and to ensure accountability. It's a direct way for you to see what the government is up to ask questions, and, ultimately to help fight corruption. Okay, so to use this superpower, you've got to know what's in your toolkit, right? Let's get crystal clear on the key terms that are defined right in the Act itself.
Just look at how incredibly broad this definition of information is. We're not just talking about some dusty old file in a cabinet. It's pretty much anything the government holds, from emails and official opinions to actual physical samples or data that's just sitting on a computer. This massive scope is exactly what makes the Act so powerful.
And who do you ask for this information? Well, you ask a public authority. Now, this covers almost any part of the government you can possibly think of, from the Prime Minister's office all the way down to your local municipal corporation, or even a government-funded university. If it's part of the state, it's covered. Simple as that.
And this gets to the absolute core of it all. Section 3 of the Act is so simple, it's beautiful. It just says that every citizen has the right to information. This isn't some favor the government is doing for you. It's a legally guaranteed right. And this right goes way beyond just getting a letter in the mail. You can actually physically go and inspect government projects or records. You can ask for certified official copies of documents. You can even request certified samples of materials they're using in a public project. It's a really comprehensive right to access.
Okay, so you know the what and the why. Let's finally get to the how. How do you actually go about filing a request?
The process is designed to be pretty straightforward. First, you just have to figure out which department has the information you're looking for. Second, write a clear application. You don't need any fancy legal jargon. Third, you submit it to the designated public information officer, or PIO. And this last point, this is the game changer. You never have to explain why you want the information. Your reason is your own business, period. As soon as you've filed your request, the government is officially on the clock. For most requests, the public information officer has a maximum of 30 days to respond, and that timeline, it's mandated by law. But that 30-day window can shrink dramatically. If the information you're seeking has to do with the life or liberty of a person, the response time is just 48 hours. This really shows you how seriously the Act treats matters of immediate human importance.
So what happens if those 30 days go by and you've heard nothing? Or what if your request is just flat out rejected?
Well, don't worry, the Act has a very clear path forward for that too. Now, while your right is incredibly broad, it's not totally absolute. Section 8 of the Act lists some specific exemptions to protect things like, national security or personal privacy. But, and this is a big but, if an officer denies your request, they have to tell you the specific reason why. And if you get no response at all within 30 days, the law calls that a deemed refusal, which means you can automatically move on to the next step.
Say a refusal is not the end of the line. You have a two-step appeal process. First, within 30 days of getting that refusal, you can file a first appeal with a senior officer inside that same department. If you're still not satisfied with their answer, you have 90 days to file a second appeal with a totally independent body, the Information Commission.
So let's talk about these commissions. You can think of them as the independent and powerful referees of the RTI Act, created specifically to guard your right to know. And you can see how they're built to be independent. The members of both the Central and State Information Commissions are appointed by these really high-level bipartisan committees. I mean, you've got the Prime Minister or Chief Minister and the Leader of the Opposition involved.
This whole structure is designed to make sure they're impartial. They don't answer to any one department. They answer to the law. And believe me, these commissions have real power. They can basically function like a civil court. They can summon officials, they can demand to see any document, and most importantly, their decisions are legally binding. This is what gives the RTI Act its teeth. And to make sure the law is actually followed, there are real consequences. The Commission can slap a penalty on an officer of 250 rupees for each day of delay without a good reason. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but it adds up quickly, up to 25,000 rupees, and it sends a very clear message. So when you look at the big picture, the RTI Act is so much more than just a way to get documents. It represents a fundamental shift in how things are done, moving our government's default setting from secrecy to transparency, and really rebalancing the power between the citizen and the state. So there you have it. We've walked through the what, the why, and the how of your right to information. The framework is there, the tools are in your hands, and the power is absolutely real. The only question left is the one right there on your screen. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.